everybody, this is Chad the Gaming Dad with you here on our 2020 wrap-up special. Yes, we're going to go ahead and take a look month by month, tell you what was cool, what was happening each month, stuff that was on my radar. I'm sure there's going to be things I missed, but this is what I was paying attention to each month along the way this year. We're going to go through all the months, and then at the end, we're going to tell you what I think was the game of the year. So let's go. So welcome back, everybody, to another episode here on Chad the Gaming Dad on my channel. And yes, I haven't been posting a ton recently, and you may notice behind me the setting has changed because we've moved. Been very busy over the last couple of months with a lot of different things. Very fortunate to be able to move this year in amongst all this other nonsense. So yes, I'm here in the new Chad the Gaming Dad man cave. You see the arcade one-ups I got lined up here. I got Yoda hanging out with me. You can't miss it. This is the best. I love it down here. It's so great. Everybody's doing well here at the house. So anyways, getting that out of the way real quick. So let's just get into it real fast and take a look at month by month. I got some notes here, so you may see me look down. You may not, I'm going to show some gameplay footage. So let's go all the way back to January, just as we began 2020. So in January, I went through and I looked at the games that were releasing for each month. January, for me anyway, there wasn't much there. Not a whole lot of anything, to be honest with you. The only thing I really paid any attention to that came out that month was Stranger's Wrath HD, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD. It's on the Switch. That's pretty cool. That's an old Xbox game from the original Xbox that I loved. Really cool how you go around and you pick up your ammo, or these little animals that you have to hunt down, and they would do crazy things. Like some of them would shock things, other ones would set traps or just bite the bad guys. That's a really cool game. That came out in January. Other than that, January wasn't all that great. So now we come to February. February, they started to pick up a little bit. Let me see, what do we got here? There was some Yakuza stuff that was coming out in February. They had their collection where it was the remake or the remastered collection of 3, 4, and 5. So in February, Part 5, Yakuza 5 dropped. And I love Yakuza, so I'm going to mention that. Plus, it was starting to pop up on other systems like Xbox that had never been on before, so that's cool. But again, that's not really new games. That's not stuff that's released this year. That's pretty much all that was happening. There's another one there that I'm looking at that's Zombie Army 4. That caught my eye because I love the Sniper Elite games and I love all that kind of slow motion shooting and the bullet, all that stuff. That was really cool. Problem is, if you take a look here, I'm going to show you some of this screenshot or whatever from PS4. This is the store for Zombie Army 4. And I'm not a big fan of all of this stuff. There's tons of stuff to buy, and there's multiple season passes and everything. You can count me out. When they start adding all that crap in there, I'm done. I like a good game, and if it has a season pass or some expansions and I'm into it, yeah, maybe. But this thing's just trying to milk it. Let's face it. It's just like a lot of these other games that you're going to see, where all they're trying to do is just hook you in and get more money. I have to tell my kids the same thing all the time. All the time. I have to tell my kids, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. My son loves playing Rocket League. That didn't come out this year, but we've played a lot of Rocket League this year, and I have to warn him. I'm like, dude, it's free. Yeah, and you can play it, but they're trying to get you. And every now and then he asks for some skins or something. I'm like, see? They got you. Told you. Anyway, so that's it for that month. February. January, February. Not much. So now we come to March. There was a lot of stuff going on in March. I don't think I've worked in my office at my regular job since March. Many of you had things change in your life all year long with all the craziness that's been going on this year and everything. But, okay, so March, we had Animal Crossing that came out on the Switch. My daughter absolutely loves it. She shouldn't tell us how much she's played, but she's played like 70 or 80 hours of Animal Crossing already. And she's only been playing it recently, so like in the last few weeks. She's absolutely sucked in by Animal Crossing. So that came out. We had stuff like Call of Duty Warzone. I don't really play Fortnite or any of that kind of stuff online. So Warzone, I haven't even touched it, but it came out, whatever. I'm just mentioning it. Neo 2, that came out. I did get that. I only just kind of scratched the surface with it, but I did like the original Neo. It's more of a Souls clone, Dark Souls kind of thing, except it's old feudal Japan type action with swords and everything. And Neo 1 was pretty good. Neo 2, problem with Neo 2 is that it just didn't get a lot of attention over the year since it's been out. And I think I saw it on Best Buy for like $10. I mean, it's really dropped in price. So looks pretty good, plays pretty good, Neo 2, but it's out there. And then the other really big one, in amongst all the other remakes, every month there's been tons and tons of remakes or remasters and all this crap. That's what they've been putting out this year, a lot of everything. But the other one that came out that was the big one in March was Doom Eternal. Now, a couple of years ago, in 2016, Doom was my game of the year. So I was so psyched. I was totally getting ready to play. I wanted to play Doom Eternal so bad. I went and got it. Number one, my pre-order bonus from Best Buy got screwed up, and so I didn't get the free version of Doom 64. I didn't get the extra weapon pack. I don't really care about that. It was no big deal. I wound up getting Doom 64 anyway, and I highly recommend that you play that because on the actual 64, the Nintendo 64, Doom 64 is a little bit rough. It's kind of dark, it's hard to play, it's hard to see, but now you can adjust things and it works really well, and it's super cool. I mentioned it before in another video. Doom 64 has this really great sound design where it's got all kinds of echo, and it's really cool. I love Doom 64. But you'll notice, I'm telling you, Doom Eternal came out, right? Not Doom 64. I kind of like Doom 64 better than I like Doom Eternal. I know, crazy, right? Especially when I'm the kind of guy who just absolutely loves Doom 2016. Doom Eternal has the same kind of music, has the same kind of action and everything, but they kind of messed with the formula a little bit, with a little too much platforming and this and that, and I don't know. I'm going to go back and try to play it more, and I want to go all the way through that game, but my first impression, my first couple of weeks that I played, I put it down. I didn't keep going. It didn't suck me in and make me just like go straight through the whole game. So, hey, there you go. March. All right, so now we come to the month of April. All right, so first thing on my list I have here is Resident Evil 3, another remake, but at least it's a new version of Resident Evil 3. Looks just as good. It's more of Resident Evil 2 remake, honestly. Everybody talked and raved about how great Resident Evil 2 was, the remake, and I agree, that one was really cool. Resident Evil 3 is just more of the same of that, except now we're doing Resident Evil 3. It's a little shorter, there's not quite as much to it. It's good. Again, but it's not lighting the world on fire. It's good. The other big ones that came out that month, I'm going to save the big one till the end of when we're talking about April here, but we had Streets of Rage 4. A lot of people that like the retro games, love those old Streets of Rage, really like that one. I didn't actually pick that one up yet. Maybe someday if it's on a big sale or something, I'll grab it, but it wasn't something that I ran right out and, I like beat 'em ups as much as the next guy, but it's not the things that really get me to jump out there and buy it on day one. But that came out, and then we also had something I was looking forward to because I am definitely a fan of the 80s action movies, Schwarzenegger, Terminators and Predators and all these great things, and Commando, all those great movies from back then. So when I heard they were making a Predator game, I was like, whoa, I got to get into this Predator game. So I was watching, I was waiting. Finally, Predator Hunting Grounds comes out, and man, it was not what you wanted. I wanted like a good single player Predator game where maybe you get to be the Predator for a while, then you get to be the Marines and back and forth. It didn't happen. I believe, I didn't even play it. I know about it by watching reviews and seeing what's going on, but I think it's another one of those ones that's like, what was that game that failed horrible a couple of years ago that came out and had 1 million DLCs for it and everything? I forget. I'll put it on the screen. Old brain, right? But yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like asymmetrical multiplayer, 3 versus 1, 1 versus 3, that whole thing. Don't want to play that one. So there's your April. And that brings us to May. All right, so in May, had some more remakes. It basically starts off with some of the Mafia remakes. They remade all 3 of them, or added to all 3 of them. They did remake 1 and 2. 1 comes later in the year, so this is all out of whack for Mafia. So Mafia 2 remake comes out. That one could stand to get remade because it was from last gen and this and that. But they did like a definitive edition on 3. I'm not sure what they added to that or if it was just all the DLC or whatever, but those came out, Mafia 2 and 3. We also had Xenoblade Chronicles. The definitive edition came out on Switch, and I really loved that game back in the day. Heck, I played it on the 3DS. I actually had it on the Wii, found it when I was in my collecting days and all that. Xenoblade, pretty cool, but again, more remakes. Mortal Kombat 11 had more add-ons. We got Terminator. Later on down the road, we got some Rambo and some RoboCop and all this stuff. That's a pretty solid game, but again, lots of microtransactions. They try to get you to buy tons of stuff. Multiple DLCs here, what else did we have here in May? We've got Maneater. I did wind up picking up Maneater when it was on sale. I forget what holiday it was. It was a while ago. It was like a pre-Black Friday deal at Target or something. Got Maneater real cheap. And we played it. The kids played it with me for a couple hours. It's good for a laugh, but it's not. I'm having trouble this year finding games that really suck you in, that make you go, now that's what I'm talking about. It just hasn't happened that much, at least not through May. So yeah, there you go. There was also Minecraft Dungeons during the month of May. I did take a look at that on the channel, and it is fun if you have younger kids playing that game, because it is, some people have called it baby's first Diablo, and I kind of agree with that. There is some element of truth to that, but when you're playing with your kids and stuff, they love Minecraft. At least this isn't just the same old Minecraft. It's something else to do. You run through. It's a dungeon crawler. It's Diablo in Minecraft. So that came out in May also. So let's head off taking a look at June. Now in June, something jumped out at me, and this was a surprise. This is Clubhouse Games 51 on the Switch. This thing is really good. There are some games in there that you know, things that you've played before, but the ones I really like are these ones that come from different places. You know, these things that are unique to maybe Japan or other countries, where it's a common game to them, and there's a reason why it's a common game for them, because it's something fun. These are all board games, basically, things that you normally would play physically in real life, and they're really good. Some of this stuff is, makes you think a little bit, and there's what is it, 51, and it's not like Action 52. It's not a crap game. There's good stuff in there. It's fun. In fact, I played a ton of the Yahtzee version. They call it Yacht Dice. I mean, I guess it was invented and played on people that had yachts first or something. But anyway, that's a pretty cool game. That came out in June. We've got, of course, another remake. We've got the SpongeBob remake that came out in June. We only recently got that for the kids for Christmas. Looks good, sounds good, and everything, but it's a GameCube game. It's a PS2 game, remade. More remakes. Hey, what are we doing in 2020? We're just remaking games. Right. Whatever. But there was another one that came out in June, The Last of Us Part 2. Very divisive game. A lot of people either loved it or hated it. I fall in the middle. There are things about it I don't like. There are things about it that I do like. Haven't finished it. I have played it for a while, and I plan to get back into that one. It's not bad. You have to, people take things so seriously when they're looking to play their games, and that's fine. You can do that if you want to. It's a good story, and the first game was so strong that you would have connections to some of these characters, and if they're not treated right, I can see where people would get upset. But the way I look at things when I'm playing games, ultimately, it's just for fun, and if it's a decent story and some good action and stuff, I kind of like that. I don't love everything about the game. I don't love all the choices that they necessarily made on everything, but you can do worse. It's not bad. I don't know that I would have praised it as highly as everybody did that liked it, and I also don't hate it as much as everybody that hated it hates it. So there you go. There you have it. That's what came out in June. So now we come to July. July is a very key month in the year of 2020 for video games. In July there were 3. It's like the trifecta of big games, really big games. So you've got Death Stranding. Everyone was waiting for this for a long time. Hideo Kojima promised to revolutionize the industry. He was going to come out with a completely new game, totally different thing that no one has ever seen before. And he did that. He did. It's a type of game that no one's ever seen before and everything. I did do a review on it, and I believe I gave it a fun. But you have to be in the mood for it, and it just has to be something that appeals to you. It's not a game for the masses. It's not a game for everybody. It's very slow. But during 2020, we're hitting July, right? We're a few months into this whole thing where a lot of people have been staying home and stuff like that. It did kind of fit almost. At least that's how I saw it. And a lot of other people too. It was like in the game, all of humanity had to go underground to survive because of the BTs and all of the, the time rain and all these things. And this guy had to just bring things to people to keep them going. It was kind of spooky, kind of eerily similar to how some people were living at the time. So Death Stranding is definitely unique. That came out in July. And then we also have Paper Mario and the Origami King, a game again that's kind of divisive. Really good high quality first party Nintendo game, a Paper Mario game. Lots of fun action and everything. Played a lot of it with my kids. We were beating bosses and everything. The real thing that people either love or hate is the rings. The ring battle system, where it's basically like a little puzzle. It's not just a battle, and it's not just raising your XP to get to a level where you're strong enough to fight off these guys. It's all this little, twist the wheels around puzzle and line up the guys and boop, 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 boop. And it's pretty cool. Once you get used to it, it's a unique thing. You got to give Nintendo credit, at least for the fact that they do try new things all the time. And they don't just give you the same old thing, same old. So that's a really good one. That was also in July. The third one that came out in July that was a really, really big one for PS4 is Ghost of Tsushima. And I really liked Ghost of Tsushima. Didn't finish it all the way yet, but man, I got probably more hours in Ghost of Tsushima than most of these games on the list so far this year. And I can't give it like 100% praise though. I can't say that this is the greatest thing ever because it's really cool. I haven't played very many games that have that setting, that have that kind of emotional feel to it, and more of it's kind of a tactile feel. You don't look at a mini map and stuff to go where you're going. You hit a button and you follow the wind as it blows and tells you which way to go. That kind of stuff makes it really suck you in. Very immersive, very fun. Problem with that game is that it's so big and it's so expansive that after a while you do tend to get fatigue from just repetition of missions. You can only go and clear out the camp so many times before the immersion starts to wear off a little bit. You can only do, I'm sure there's more to it and there's highlights and lowlights and things, but all the stuff in the middle that takes up most of the time in the game is your standard kind of open world fare, if you will. It is definitely an open world game, but you gotta give it great credit. Lots of high scores for the fact that it has such a great setting. It looks so good. It sounds so good. It plays so well. Very few glitches, very few problems, even on a regular PS4. You got to give it lots of credit. Ghost of Tsushima, really big one that came out in July. So that's the trifecta for July. Let's go to August. So here we go. August comes around, and again, it's another one of these not much months where there's not a whole lot going on. My kids wanted to play Descenders. They were watching a lot of these guys on YouTube. You know those YouTube guys, right? So they're watching these guys on YouTube playing Descenders and doing backflips and stuff, and they got all excited about it. So we did get that one, and that's a pretty fun game, but ultimately you play it for a while, and it's what it is. You're riding mountain bikes down the hill and doing tricks and stuff, and that's it. There's not a whole lot to it. So let's see. August was also a very disappointing month. We had Madden come out. For those that like to play the football game, that one was disappointing. Tons of microtransactions, tons of the Ultimate Team stuff that they were trying to suck you in. Again, it's the gotcha schemes where they try to get you hooked on stuff so you keep giving them more money. We also had Project Cars 3 that came out. I liked the first couple of Project Cars. Didn't buy this one. Watched a bunch of reviews, and man, it did not do well. It looked like it was a bit of a mess, and I believe that it sold very poorly. So again, you try to go to that well too many times, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So August, a whole bunch of not much. So now we come to September. We're getting into the fall. We're getting close to the end of summer. We're getting close to fall. September jumps out at us with, of course, the Mafia. I told you earlier, a few months ago, Mafia 2 and 3 definitive came out. Well, now we had Mafia 1 remake. Really nice, really good looking game, good playing game. I have that one. That one is fun. I do like that one. There are things about it, and I've seen some reviews where they talk about that the Mafia remake isn't quite as good as the original game as far as some of the things you get to do in the game, but they did a real nice job making it, bringing it up to current video game standards. It is a nice remake, so not bad there. We also had some more remakes. That's it. 2020, the year of the remake. So yeah, Nintendo got in the game with Super Mario 3D All-Stars. They picked 3 of the greatest Super Mario games: Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. Put them all 3 on one cart, put it on the Switch. I don't know why they didn't add Galaxy 2. I hope that they put that out eventually too, because it's just as good, if not better, than Galaxy 1. But, hey, well, baby steps, right? Baby steps with Nintendo and releasing... I really wanted to release a whole bunch more of the greatest GameCube games on the Switch, because that just works. I mean, heck, even the Wii game, even Mario Galaxy, works really well on the Switch. If you're not in handheld mode, you can still use the Joy-Con like a pointer and do what you did on the Wii and get all the stars that are up in the sky. Or if you're in handheld mode, you just touch the screen, move your finger around touchscreen style. So they've got lots of different options for you. The games look good. They play good. It's really nice. I like trying to show my kids some of these games that I've loved for so many years. So that's good. But again, more remakes. All right. I can't get away from remakes. The good game in September, there's 2 of them. The good game in September, Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 remakes. But these ones are completely brand new from the ground up remakes of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. I love the fact that the levels are the same. The places that you used to get your high scores, you'd jump here, you'd ride this rail, then you'd hop to here, then you'd hop to here. You had it down back in the day, and it still works. Those things are still in there. But more important than that, most of the soundtrack has made it over. The same soundtrack. So you hear all that stuff that you heard before. The same punk rock, and it really brings you back. And it looks so good, and it plays so well. Gotta love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Again, another remake. And then we also had, in September, a little game called Hades. Yeah, that came out. A lot of people really love Hades. I've been playing it on the Switch. Definitely, if you like roguelike games where you go through and you level up, you keep getting stronger, you try to go through. This one's addictive. It's a really good one. It's got that isometric kind of thing. That's just how they do their games. I didn't write down who made this thing, but can put it down at the bottom or something there. But yeah, they've made other things like Transistor. A lot of their games have that sort of isometric over the top view. But this one's really fun. Hades came out, so that's another one to pay attention to from back in September. So let's go to October. So October comes in. Hey, at least it's not a remake, but it's a sequel, and it's a long-awaited sequel. It's Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Yeah, that one looks really good, plays really good, and it's supposed to be Crash 4 after Crash 1, 2, and 3 on the PS1, the original piece, original PlayStation. Now we got 4 finally, even after all those other Crash Bandicoot games fell through in between there. We're not counting those. We're going straight to 4 here. But again, this game is really hard, really fun, very much feels like Crash Bandicoot, but I haven't finished it. You know who I am by now, watching my channel. I don't finish everything. I play a lot of different things. So, didn't finish it, but from what I understand, watching some other videos and people who did, if you want to complete this thing, it's apparently a nightmare. There's tons and tons of... You got to play through it a bunch of times. Even just to finish everything, it's a bit of a chore, but if you love Crash Bandicoot, heck, you probably already have this, but that one came out in October. Let's see what else we got. Well, I wanted to mention this one, Space Crew. Space Crew caught my attention because it looks a lot like FTL, Faster Than Light, where it's, you're flying through space and you can see down into your ship and you have to manage all of the things that are happening within it. You get attacked, you got to send your guys over to the guns and shoot, and then when something goes wrong, gets broken in the ship, you got to send your guys over to get it fixed. And yes, of course, I dressed up all my crew to look like Star Trek guys, and the engineers are wearing red, and I got everybody dressed up just right. It's so fun. That game is hard, really hard. In fact, I really liked playing that one. I found out that was the sequel to Bomber Crew, which was basically the same game but set more like in a bomber in World War II. Same type of thing. You have to go flying over stuff and manage all the guys within the ship. It's not exactly the same as FTL. It has the same look, and that's what originally drew me in. It's a bit different, but still a whole lot of fun. So Bomber Crew is on the list for Bomber Crew. Space Crew, Bomber Crew. It's the same thing. It's just 2 games. So that's on October. Now, I don't buy a lot of sports games anymore because, let's face it, they're the same every year, and I do like playing some of them, but until there's something different to really buy, I'm not going to get all that interested. But NHL 21 came out in October, and I have bought it recently. Didn't buy it back in October, but I got it recently on sale and everything else. But mainly, I wanted to get it because if you pre-ordered it back in the day, you got this for free. Now, if you buy NHL 21, you can buy it. This is a weird thing that EA is doing. They don't have it listed like on the PlayStation Store. You have to buy it through the game, so you can't buy it without NHL 21. More shenanigans by EA. But anyway, NHL 94 remake. It's 2020, so we got remakes. Man, I played that all the time in college. NHL 94 on the Genesis and on the Super Nintendo. This is just like it. Takes you right back, and it reminded me all over again how I kind of stink at NHL 94, but I still like it. It's still fun. I keep trying to win, and last night I actually did. I had a big comeback, and I won by 1 goal, and I'm very proud of that. But it's NHL 94, except for that it has all the current day NHL players. So that's awesome. NHL 21 all in its own. If you haven't bought an NHL game for a few years, it's a good one. It's a really good one to get. Now, if you have bought a bunch of NHL games in the last few years, it's probably not that much different, but really solid entry in the NHL series. And in fact, as a gaming dad, and I used to play hockey in real life occasionally, probably still do, but not like in leagues and stuff. But I was sitting down here in the new man cave, and me and my son were playing NHL 21, co-op on the same team, right? When you're a dad who used to play hockey and everything, and you're sitting here with your son who's only 7, and you pass the puck to him, and he knows how to one-timer it, boom, right into the goal, that's a good feeling. That's a real good feeling. He's gotten interested in hockey through playing NHL 21, which is, what more could you ask for? You know, he was asking me, hey, where's your old hockey stick? You got a puck around here? So I showed him all these things. He's got them up sitting in his room now. It's the coolest thing ever. I mean, what more could a hockey gaming dad want than to have his kid wanting to play NHL video games and getting interested in playing hockey for himself? So that's awesome. The other big one that I saved for last in October is Star Wars Squadrons. Those of you who have watched my channel before, I say it over and over again, my all-time favorite game is X-Wing on the PC, the DOS version. Back in the day, I kind of like the special edition too, but the DOS version has a special place in my heart because I played a ton of that when I was a kid. Star Wars Squadrons feels like a modern-day version of X-Wing. Not quite as good as X-Wing with the story and everything, but sitting in the cockpit, having to use your instrumentation, shift your laser power, shift your power to your shields, front shields, back shields, all while you're flying. If you have a flight stick, and especially, this is the kicker, if you have a PSVR, or if you play this on a computer, on PC VR, but put on the VR headset, use the flight stick, you are inside the cockpit of TIE fighters and X-Wings and other ships from Star Wars, and the rest of the world goes away. You're in there, man, and it's so good. It's like Red 5 standing by. I'm Red 5. So, the other thing about that, I can't recommend this game enough, really, because, of course, EA, we're talking about the shenanigans that EA pulls, how they make you buy NHL 21 to get the old version of it and everything. This is probably the most generous game of the entire year, is Star Wars Squadrons, because it came out at $40 to begin with, so it was already cheaper than your normal game that comes out. There's no microtransactions, no extra stuff, and then they drop a DLC on it that is just an automatic update that adds more stuff to the game, ships and locations and things. What the heck? EA, are you drunk? Can you stay that way? That would be great. I don't understand what's going on, but Squadrons, get that one. If you love flight games, you like Star Wars and everything, Squadrons is an awesome one. And that's in October. So we only have 2 more months left. Let's get into November. November brought us 2 new consoles. PS5, the Xbox One or Series X. They just need to get a stinking name. All these Xbox Series XYZ thing. PS got it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody can follow along. Anyway, Xbox had a new one too. I didn't get either one of them. I'm not planning on getting either one of them. Maybe someday down the road. I'm gonna never say never, you know. And I really love video games and everything. So maybe someday. But PS4 has been such a workhorse for so many years, and I have hundreds of games on it, many of which I've not finished that I want to go back to. My PS3 still works. My 360 still works. I got an Xbox One with a few games on it. That thing didn't really get a whole lot of love for me. But I got so many things to play. I'm just not jumping into the new systems. But they came out November. A lot of people are angry because all the scalpers bought them and nobody can get them. And they're, 10 times the price and stuff. But anyways, they came out this month in November. Let's go down the list. There was a bunch of stuff that came out. 2 things that my kids really liked. Planet Coaster, the console edition. This is a game that's been out on PC for a long time. They finally came out with a console edition of Planet Coaster, and it's really fun. My daughter's been very hooked into building her own theme park and filling it up with all the best rides and figuring out where they want to put the trash cans and the whole thing, and watching all the people come to the park. Really good, really good, what do you want to call it? Theme park simulator. The only downside about it is that the size of the park had to be limited a little bit for the consoles because it just doesn't have the unlimited power and memory and processors like a PC might. So, but hey, you can still build a pretty good looking park and a pretty big park, and you can also build roller coasters from scratch and make them however you want them, and then you can sit in them first person and go for a ride. And sometimes it's even fun to just not complete the roller coaster and watch it shoot right off the track and bounce on the ground and people fly on. It's a good time. Very wholesome entertainment. The other thing that the kids really love that you will never see me play is Just Dance, the newest version of Just Dance. These guys are going crazy. And again, this is another game that's kind of generous with its... There's a lot of songs on there. You can buy the unlimited version where it gives you hundreds more songs, but that sort of sucks. That part's not generous. That part is a yearly fee you have to pay every year to keep those songs going. But the part where I'm saying it's generous is that it only requires one Joy-Con to play. So you don't need to buy a whole bunch more Joy-Cons. You can use a phone. You can download a thing where you can use a phone, like a smartphone, as the controller. So I just have the two kids, so I give them each a piece of the Switch, the left, the right, and they're dancing like crazy and playing, and then you can go online and play against your friends and stuff. Not a bad deal if you have kids and they like music and dancing around. So that's good. So let's go down the list here. There was a bunch of other stuff that came out. In November, we had Hot Pursuit Remastered, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. What's 2020? Remasters, yes. So many remasters. And this one, I wound up getting it because I found it was another one of these Black Friday sale kind of things, and I really liked the original one. It's hardly any different than the PS3. I just like playing stuff on my PS4 a lot, and I have the PS4 Pro, so it's kind of nice. Have it hooked up to my surround sound. The game just is blaring music and the sound of the cars and stuff. It really looks good, runs really fast, plays good, but graphically, it was doing pretty good on the PS3, and it's doing pretty good now. It wasn't a huge upgrade, but there's a few games that I have for the PS4 that I got just kind of to have them in my PS4 collection because I really liked them, and I like using that machine, that controller. Man, I love the PS4. It's probably my favorite. Probably. So anyways, let's get back down to the list here. We had Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I got that one simply because I like the Viking setting, but it is no different than any other Assassin's Creed game. Got a little bit different story, got a little bit different setting. You run around, you climb towers, you unlock maps, you find little points all over the maps, you go clear those out, rinse and repeat. Assassin's Creed. But I mean, it's not a bad game. High quality. It's the kind of thing that you can play a lot. I mean, it kind of is not as pretty as Ghost of Tsushima, but it's got its own unique setting. Ghost of Tsushima has its own setting. You know, these are open world games where you get to go into a past historical location and run around and do a bunch of stuff. So that's there. We had, I love Yakuza. Now, I've told you, X-Wing's my favorite individual game. My favorite series of games all time is the Yakuza series. So, of course, I had to grab Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now, I'm kind of warming up to it. After playing through all those other Yakuza games and absolutely loving the characters, and I know the whole city and everything, jumping out and having a new protagonist, having a new main character, new city, and then they also turned it into more of an RPG where it's turn-based fighting. I wasn't really sure about that. I'm one of those guys that they say, the Yakuza faithful or the purists or whatever might not like this. Well, I guess I'm one of them then, because I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but a lot of the stuff that I really like about the Yakuza games, the humor, the storytelling, the action and everything, you don't really lose that in Like a Dragon. It's pretty good. I gotta give it credit that they were able to change everything up, but they didn't really ruin it. You just have to get used to it. It is a little bit different flavor than you're used to playing with Yakuza games. So that's cool. What do we got here? Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11. added some more characters. Like I said a few months ago, this is where they added like your Rambo and some more classic characters. Still a pretty fun game, but again, that one's, I hope they're done soon because I like it. And problem is, once you buy in to getting some of the DLCs for a game, it's tough not to try to complete it. I don't know about you guys, but I have trouble doing that. If I have a game and I bought the first season pass and I continue to play it and I liked it, they come out with more stuff later, you feel like, oh geez, I don't have the whole game again. And hey, they know how to get you, right? That's what they do. What else did we have on that month? In November, I did want to mention Gears Tactics. I haven't bought one thing for my Xbox One in ages, but I did buy Gears Tactics. I was thinking about getting it on the PC because I really like playing XCOM and those kind of turn-based strategy games. Those are really fun. I love the over-the-head. You have to plan it out and figure out how to get through the mission, and one guy flanks and one guy goes up the front. All these good things. The Gears Tactics one, it looked really good on PC, and then when I saw that it was going to come to the Xbox One, I did wait for it. I did get it. A really high quality game, really good sound. Put it on a surround sound system and you sit. Sounds great, looks great, pretty hard, good challenge. It feels a lot like what you may like from an XCOM game if you like those types of games. So Gears Tactics is on there. And let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, one that I avoided in November is the 13 remake. Now, back on my original Xbox, I had 13. This is the one that looks like a comic book. It's all cel shaded, and when they shoot, it like turns into a box and goes like pop, 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 pop out of their head, and it's really cool, very stylish, very exciting, good game. I thought for sure this was going to be a slam dunk, but then it came out, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to get it. I watched some reviews and saw some things, and boy, that thing flopped hard too. They just didn't do a good job with it. What do you know? I mean, hey, it's another remake. Let's make some more remakes. Maybe in the PS5, we'll have remakes of remakes. Probably. I mean, they're already doing remakes. Some of the launch titles are remakes, so why not? Let's remake the remakes. So later on, a couple years from now, you're going to have like Mafia 1 PS5 Ultimate Edition remade of the PS4 edition or something. It's going to be crazy. So anyways, there you go. Man, there's probably other stuff that I'm missing, but that's what I had highlighted for November. So now we come to December, the month we are currently in, December. We are finishing out this 2020 year, and it's mercifully coming to an end. We're almost done with the whole year. December. You know what came out in December. You know what was delayed over and over again that we've been waiting years for. It was a game that was announced before the PS4 and the Xbox One even came out. Been in development forever, super hyped up. It's the most amazing thing. It's going to change your life. It's the greatest thing. And it comes out and it's an absolute mess, a disaster. It's Cyberpunk 2077. Oh my gosh, that thing. I have a PS4 Pro, so I'm very lucky because mine isn't as bad as what they're showing the base PS4, but I've had some glitches. I've had where I'm about to start a main mission and it just freezes, shuts down. I was walking through, in one of the main battles, I'm walking through the hallway and there's a cell phone just floating in midair, just stuck. I mean, I walked by it, I turned around, looked at it like this. Just cell phone sitting there, and then I turned my back to it, walked away, turned back around, it was gone. It's a mystery. It's the magic cell phone of Cyberpunk. Really, I can't say it's the worst game in the world. It may be the worst launch of a game in the world, but the story of it seems really cool. The setting is definitely really cool, and I'm, as I play it, it does make me want to keep playing it as long as it doesn't just crash or have too many glitches. And they have released a few patches for it by now, so it is getting a little better. I'm sure there'll be more patches down the road. They're not done with it yet. But The Witcher, it is not. everybody thought this was going to be The Witcher 3 or one of these other CD Projekt games, but just set in this cyberpunk setting. It's not. It's not even that long in comparison to some of those games. I'm sure you can do a lot of side work and stuff, but I don't know. It breaks immersion a ton. I don't know. The thing I didn't like about it, I did like some of the stuff. I did like the story. I did like the setting and everything, but the first thing you do, you get in the game and you're creating your character, and then you have to pick your, downstairs. Who cares? Why is that in the game? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just gaming dad and I'm thinking like my kids don't need to worry about that kind of crap. It's definitely not a game for kids. But I'm just saying, like, did they try too hard to make it edgy? Did they try too hard to make it like the way it is? Every 3 steps in the city is like another adult store, or you find random adult themed items laying on the ground in the city and everything. I don't know. To me, it just seems a little bit like trying too hard to be super cool and edgy. I don't know. And then on top of that, the thing's a mess and it's glitchy as all hell and all that stuff. So Cyberpunk 77 came out in December. That was pretty cool. Really not much else came out this month. Now, just recently, Super Meat Boy Forever did come out. I'm a huge fan of the original Super Meat Boy. I loved that. Played The End Is Nigh, which is sort of the spiritual successor. It's very similar to Meat Boy. Played Binding of Isaac. I like what Ed McMillan does. I like his kind of games and everything. He didn't work on this. He did initially work on it, but then he left Team Meat. So other people finished this thing up, and it was originally set to be an iOS game, like a mobile phone game. It's an auto runner. You can't decide when you run. It just goes. But it does somehow feel kind of like Meat Boy. It looks really cool. The music that they have in it, the art style and everything. I would say if you really like the Meat Boy game and that style of stuff, give it a try. But it's not like the original Meat Boy. It is different in many ways, but still pretty cool. That one came out just recently. And then the last thing I was going to mention for December, my kids, this game is not new, but Among Us is all of a sudden blowing up. Everybody's playing Among Us. They're playing it on the Switch. They're playing it on phones. Playing it everywhere. Heck, my wife's boss said she was playing Among Us. Everybody's playing Among Us. So that's kind of something that's hot this month too. So there you have it. Went through all the months. So now I'm just going to quickly go down the list and tell you which games I think were the best from each month. And then we will pick the game of the year for 2020. All right, so running down the list, here we go. I've got my list, my handy list right in front, right here. Here's the list. In January, nothing. There was nothing. There was nothing. February, I've got nothing. February's nothing. March has Doom Eternal. Yeah, Doom Eternal came out. April, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, did I forget to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake in April? I think I did. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was not a Final Fantasy guy. Didn't never really play Final Fantasy all that much. But I grabbed the remake just because it looked so interesting. It looked so cool. It was like, they did a good job. So I went ahead and started playing that one, and that's really good. Come to find out, again, I never played the other one. This is like the first half of Final Fantasy VII, and that they're working on the rest of it later. They widened and more fleshed out the first half of Final Fantasy VII. Heck, I even bought the old game on the Switch and started playing that too. Final Fantasy VII. So, okay, I may have forgot to mention it in April when we were talking about it, but it is the game I choose for April. Final Fantasy VII Remake is cool. So then we get to May. I'm going to just say Xenoblade Remake. That's the one that caught my eye the most there. June is going to have to go to Last of Us 2. That's the highest profile good game. Maybe not good game, depends on if you like it or not. Big one that came out there. July, remember the July trifecta? We had the big ones. We had the Death Stranding, and we had Ghost of Tsushima, and we had Mario Origami King. I'm going to have to go with Ghost of Tsushima. It's the one I played the most. and I really did enjoy that setting and everything. So then we go to August. August again is another nothing month. I can't think of anything that month that was all that great. September has Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. That was the best game that I played in September by far. October, I told you all about it. Star Wars Squadrons, really high up on my list. Star Wars Squadrons. And then we get into November with Gears Tactics. That's the one that I actually liked because it was unique. It had its own thing going on. I really like Gears Tactics. For November and December, just no, not picking a game in December. It's not going to be Cyberpunk. December, no. So that leads me to tell you my top game of the year for Chad the Gaming Dad channel 2020. With so many months having nothing, most of the other months having remakes, and your standard fare, the only game that I could give the game of the year to, and it's not going to be the most original thing in the world, it's going to be Ghost of Tsushima. I really like that game, but I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. Funny that a game that's not a 10 out of 10 is going to be my game of the year, but there you have it. Ghost of Tsushima. It's the game that I played the most out of this whole list of games that I talked about just now, and I really do enjoy the setting, and I do intend to go back and finish all the rest of it, so I have many more hours left to go in Ghost of Tsushima. I like jumping into that game, but I do have to give it a break every now and then because you get burnout from some of the repetition. But it's not a bad repetition. It's fun. It's fun to go and hit that button and you slash the blood, and then the next guy comes and you knock him down. These are all fun things. It's great gameplay, very exciting, good fun game. But not a 10 out of 10. But hey, for this year, we'll take it. 2020. It's been a year, guys. It's been a year. So Ghost of Tsushima, there you go, my game of the year. So hey, that's it. There's your end of the year special. And I'm hoping to make more videos for everybody going into 2021 now that I'm down here in the new man cave and I can set up things much better and have a much easier time of making some videos as well once we're settled in here and everything is back to kind of normal. But hey, like I said, it's been a year. I hope things have worked out for you and your family. I hope things are getting better if it was not good. And I hope things continue to get better into 2021. And hopefully we get some more good games. There's a few of them left that might come out on some of the systems that I still have, PlayStation and Xbox. Halo? I don't know about Halo. After seeing what happened to Cyberpunk, I don't know if I'm really all that interested in Halo Infinite. Again, I'm not going to run right out and get a new Xbox for it. And will it run? Will it run on an old Xbox at all? Maybe that's the reason why they had to delay it. Maybe it was also going to be another Cyberpunk, right? So Halo, that's another one that I was waiting for this year that never happened. There's a few other things out there, but if that's it, and there is no more good stuff that comes out for the systems I have, I will retreat. I will retreat back into all of my really great retro games and stuff that I just have yet to complete. Got many things I can do videos on. We're going all the way back to the 2600 and the Intellivision, all those things. Looking kind of forward to the Intellivision Amico. I want to see how that goes. I did do that interview a while back with Krillcast, and we had Tommy Tallarico on there, and he was telling us all about it. It looks kind of interesting, so I don't know. There could be some real cool things coming up in 2021, but wanted to review everything for you here for 2020, and there you have it. So until next time, everybody, remember, you never outgrow video games. My name's Chad the Gaming Dad, and thanks for watching, just like always, and so long, everybody.
Hey, thanks everybody for sticking with me and watching the entire video. I hope you liked it. The best way to help out the channel is to leave a like, leave a comment, and tell your friends. If you'd like to support the channel further, there are links in the description. But otherwise, always remember that you never outgrow video games. My name's Chad the Gaming Dad, and we'll see you on the next one. So long, everybody.